So AR has been out there for quite a while. When I ask people, a lot of people have used AR before they say no, but then I talk about examples and they change their mind. So the AR in use, really the first examples of AR were heads-up displays, okay? And the very first heads-up display went into service in 1960. So they've been around quite a while, okay? So obviously, very common in military aircraft, as this screenshot is showing. Yeah, it's a great example of AR. The pilot is looking forwards through the front of the aircraft, through their windshield. They can see the world around them, but then the heads-up display is projecting information that shows, you know, the horizon, altitude, airspeed, directional information. In a military aircraft, things around threats and weapons and all that sort of stuff. Okay, but you can get heads-up displays in civilian aircraft now. You can get them in cars. Even many higher-end cars are coming in as standard options. Probably something closer to home would be your reversing camera. Okay, so that's another good example of AR. You've got the view out through the camera, the rear of your vehicle. And then we've got a computer-generated information showing you, where the vehicle's going based on the wheel turn, okay, the red zone for keeping out. So help us better understand where we are in relation to things around us. Most devices and social media platforms now have some sort of AR filters built in. Maybe some of you have played with them. Snapchat was one of the first ones to really get on board with the user credit filters, as you can see here. Really the big one in the general public's consciousness for AR was Pokemon Go. Okay, huge numbers, crazy numbers of active daily users, swarms of people all over the place running around with their smartphones and tablets looking at the world around them to see these Pokemon. So a very simple example of location-based AR. But many companies are looking at this to help them. IKEA is a good example of that. IKEA have been doing AR for a really long time. Loads of other companies do it as well. But IKEA, as you can see here in this little video from their most recent IKEA Place app, okay, so for a sales and marketing side, the ability to show the customer this is what our product will look like in your environment, so you can decide if the color matches, if the size is right, is it going to fit well, all of that kind of thing. AR is great for doing that, particularly when you can't go and visit a shop or go to a showroom. Right. Other examples, Google is also another big company that's been looking at AR for a while. So they rolled out AR walking instructions in Google Maps. So the idea is when your phone can't work in which direction you're facing, you can switch to AR mode, use the camera to work out where you are by cross-referencing the view that it sees with all of the Google Street View data, and then it can overlay these instructions showing you, this is where you need to go, walk this way, and so on. Okay, so AR is really all around us. But to talk about AR from the industrial side, and really, why is it useful? Where is it coming into this, particularly with COVID? Okay, so COVID happened, and we did talk about this probably a little bit more detail in the last webinar. But really, that's had a big effect, like we talked about, and we look at ways that this is affecting companies. And really, there are sort of short-term, medium-term, and long-term challenges. How do you deal with things right now? How do you plan for the new normal? And then how do you thrive post-COVID, okay? So in the short-term challenges, we discussed this in last week's webinar, for particularly around product design or connected products. Now, what you're looking at, obviously, is ensuring health and safety of your employees, okay? And then we're looking to connect and support our devices from a distance, okay? So to connect and remotely monitor those products in the field to better understand, do we need to service them? Can we hold off on that, okay? And you can see, using PDC's tools, some customers look at, 20 to 70% of issues resolved remotely. Okay. The other big one is around helping customers to self-service. When you can't go and visit them, how do you help them work through that when they've got their people there on site? Okay, because we can't travel remotely, can't visit the site. So how do you do that? So a big part of that is to help, remotely support customers to do the self-service and their technicians to do the work that maybe traditionally you might have had to go out and do, okay? So that's looking at things like authoring AR instructions or providing over-the-shoulder support. On the manufacturing side of things, talked before about, decrease in demand. So again, this comes back to sort of IoT, understanding your asset performance in real time, taking a proactive approach to maintenance, okay? Or the flip side to that is, some of our customers are looking at massively increased demand, okay? So how do you deal with that as well? So you're looking to increase your overall operating efficiency. Okay. But again, from the distributed workforce side, we're looking again at things like remote support, capturing expert knowledge. How do we get access to those experts when they can't come on site to visit? So this is where AR has really been helping. So that technology, that ability to view the digital world or view the real world overlaying digital information. So that enables, experts to be more productive. Okay, so we can mentor and resolve issues across distance and time. So the ability to look at a shared view of the world. Okay, on the workforce training instruction side here, we're looking at how frontline workers learn. Okay, and how we can look at improving their efficiency and their safety and really agility when they're dealing with lots of different products coming down the line. Okay, and the other big part is to capture that critical skills, critical workflow that we've got from our experts, and really make sure that we are disseminating that information to our workforce and maybe even our customers in the most efficient way to really reduce any sort of disruption that's happening there. So, as I said, as we're talking before, AR is really around that digitization, and it's really around bringing that digital technology to the front line for those frontline workers. Okay, so even before COVID happened, as companies moved down this digitalization path, those frontline workers needed access to information to do their job, and the traditional methods really were no longer viable. So the old manual that you would pull out and read through to see how this thing all works, and if you've got a very complex digital product, that really doesn't cut it anymore. Okay, so AR gives us the ability to deliver that information in new ways to help us with our productivity, agility, and safety. So rather than looking at static manual, we could look at the actual machine. We could see, what's the information there? What is the safety information for that product? Understand the various bits that make up that product when we're looking to service that, so we can understand here are the different areas that we need to work with. Okay, so really AR is about taking that information and presenting that in a new and better way to help understanding for our workers. So, pardon me, those key use cases that AR is really helping with are listed here. So things like remote assistance and collaboration. Okay, so how do you handle support calls when you can't go on site? How do we capture all of that knowledge information that we've got for maybe our workforce that's about to retire, or our experts are only in one location, they can't be everywhere at once, and distribute that throughout the rest of the organization? How do we harness our 3D information that we've got as product designers and use that to build training and work instructions? Or from a sales and marketing side of things, how do we create product visualizations and demonstrations when we can't meet our customers face to face?